All right. Good morning, everybody. Welcome back. Apologies for no stream there yesterday, but good to be back here with everybody. Hope you're all feeling refreshed, recharged, and ready to go. Gonna need you guys to bear with me a little bit here today. I'm a little bit under the weather. Person I sat next to on a connecting flight was very sick. I seem to now be very sick. So if you hear me choking on air, it's not the price action, it's just whatever is out there. Um, yeah, no, it's all good. Do you guys hear a bad echo? Anyone else hear an echo? All right. So, Earl, it seems like it might be on your end. It appears no one else is commenting about an echo. So, hopefully, everything looks okay. But yeah, all things considered, there yesterday, we didn't really miss out on anything, right? Inside bar day there, kind of indecisive price action over the last kind of couple days. And that's certainly going to create a little bit of an interesting environment for us to sort of deal with. Let's be a little bit patient here today, obviously, right? And take advantage of what markets are kind of giving us. I think the thing from my perspective, right, is it took about a week off, right? So it's been missed five trading days. So um, the objective here today is to not like try to feel pressure to trade, right? Or feel pressure to like make a decision. I want to be trading when I have just my highest probability setups or scenarios, right, where I have an expectation of being able to be profitable. I think compromising here is going to be very challenging, especially considering it looks like kind of a grindy PA, right? So that's for sure going to be something to kind of be aware of. So just know like extra pressure. Okay, just because I haven't traded for 5 days doesn't mean I need to like go force everything and try to make 5 days worth of trades in one day. That's realistically not going to make me any money. So really today focusing on the variables I can't control, finding rhythm and momentum again in the market, but also not forcing things that aren't there, and certainly no trading suboptimal setups. Spoke with a few people yesterday, right? Kind of just doing some one-on-one calls, and I guess like the theme that I saw probably from people is that they were just over trading in these conditions. Spoke to multiple people who had taken close to like 100 total trades over 5 days, and I have to say that's far too much. That's not what we need to be doing here. I think that just destroys our ability to actually execute our edge. So let's make sure that we're being very deliberate here today in our trading. And if we are, markets will reward us. If we aren't, well, we're going to hate ourselves, right? To a certain extent. So that's the emphasis here this morning. That's the obsession. And yeah, hopefully we can put ourselves in a good situation to take advantage of whatever volatility is out there here today. The other element, right, to a certain extent, is we're kind of creeping up towards the futures roll. So that period, right, is starting to become a little bit more and more um, like I don't know what I'm trying to say here, but the futures role is going to be the narrative we're going to have to watch out for from just like an execution perspective here, maybe more next week than this week. But that still creates like an extra element of potential complication here inside of our trading. From an economic calendar perspective here today, we are relatively clear. Nothing looks too wild, but then PMI tomorrow going to be a big one. CPI on Thursday going to be a big one. And I think markets probably are waiting for that here to a certain extent. So let's see how things shape up here this morning. Let's see where momentum kind of comes together. And hopefully we can kind of have ourselves a nice, good early trade. And then, at least for myself, back to bed. So, let's start mapping things out here. Welcome, everybody. And yeah, let's have ourselves a tremendous trading day. So, ES here, right? We've got an inside bar. So, formal consolidation after what looked like really high volume indecision. So I think the base expectation here, right, is kind of chop until proven otherwise. So that's going to be the note. And then this does give us some flexibility to be able to trade things in both directions, right? So we're looking for a move up towards 65.20. Nice. Don't have to change the level there, right? And then up and beyond, we've got 65.40 mapped out. And then to the downside here, 500 is probably going to be the starting point. That should get taken care of by the indicator. And so we're back to then looking at 64.90. Maybe a little bit of some like confirmation bias, if you want to call it that. But considering I haven't traded for a week and the pre-market levels and the prep is effectively the same a week later, that kind of tells you everything you need to know about the trading week that just was. So we're looking basically for a personality change here a little bit, or a move away from some of that PA. It does seem a little bit like more of a buy the dip market than sell the rip. But I'm not going to be forcing that mandate on. I'm just going to try to trade the price action that I see in front of me. All right, NQ, same thing, right? Inside bar here, post high volume indecision. And then again, it's assume chop, right? Chop until proven otherwise. Just keep that simple. And then to the upside here, okay, we're already at 23.8. So pre-market high is going to be 23.9. And then from there, we're looking 24.2. Look up towards, right, all-time highs, kind of give or take. To the downside here, 23.7, probably the starting point. Then 23.6, yada, yada, yada. And we have it mapped out, okay, about 1,000 points. I don't think we're going to get a 1,000-point move here today, or I'd be very surprised if we did. But certainly have enough volatility. I kind of like my gut feeling, I guess, to a certain extent here, and maybe not about like today's price action specifically, but maybe like the next 10 days or so, especially on NQ, is it might be a little bit easier for us to get like a move to all-time highs here first. And if we're going to get a rejection, I would imagine we get a rejection once a new all-time high is made. Because it does feel like we're just a little bit too close to not test that level before kind of determining what the new path of least resistance is. Kind of similar to the grind we had right in July and August. Kind of seems like September is setting up for that here a little bit. And then from like a seasonality perspective, September kind of continues to maintain a little bit of that like choppy chaos, or like a little bit of that grindy type PA, especially early September. So again, I think we're getting more reasons to be patient than aggressive, and just really want to make sure that whatever action I'm taking, or whatever trade I'm taking, I'm being extremely deliberate in my execution of it. I'm really focusing on losing small, and if I do, then my risk reward and my position sizing and all those kind of fun things should kind of put me in a situation where I hopefully will be successful. Okay. CL, bit of an interesting one here. Big gap up, right? All things considered, still an inside bar. And, probably more like trending price action here to the downside, right? Yesterday or Friday was kind of a trend day here lower. Yesterday, day of consolidation. So very much seems like the path of least resistance is to the downside here on CL. We do have some flexibility in both directions, but with the size of the gap up here this morning, I would think that the bullish opportunity maybe is a little bit more challenging. So we're looking, 63.22 here pre-market. So we'll call that 64 as our starting point here to the upside. And then we're going like 64.50. Right. And then to the downside here, this would be what I think is the path of least resistance. And then we're looking pre-market low is going to be 62.50. So that's going to be my starting point here to the downside. And then 61.50, and we could probably go down to like 60-ish. Yeah, it's about 60 makes some sense. Excuse me. and 60, 50, and then 60. So definitely some two-way tape here pretty much across the board, right, today. Um, yeah, I think maybe path of least resistance is still higher on the indexes. Path of least resistance is lower on crude. Let's see which story basically wins here today. All right. Apple, red candle, decreasing volume gap down. Tesla, higher high, higher low, but red candle. So it's still a 2 out of 3 without. And I can call that a weak one because it's got bullish characteristics, right? Higher high, higher low would be a trend continuation type story. Microsoft, inside bar. Amazon, green candle, decreasing volume gap up. So 2 out of 3 to the upside without volume. NVIDIA, oh, gross. Green candle, decreasing volume gap up. So again, we'll call this a weak 2 out of 3 to the upside without volume. AMD, red candle, decreasing volume gap up. So 1 for 3 here to the downside. Meta, red candle, increasing outlier volume gap up. So 2 out of 3 to the downside with volume. And if we're already looking at our leading names here, right, we're being told a story of indecision or things being just really different, right? Where every leading name is kind of telling us a slightly different narrative. And that probably tells us, right, that it's a day of choppy consolidation more than necessarily a very clean textbook trend day. What we're going to want to see here this morning is effectively all of those tickers to line up and become consistent. Once they do, we should put ourselves in a good situation to take advantage of that move. But waiting for those things to become consistent might take a little bit of time here this morning. So base expectation probably is that it is a little bit of a slower start here to the AM, but obviously happy to be proven otherwise here. All right, Netflix, red candle, decreasing volume gap up. Again, week 1 for 3 to the downside. And then Google 234 here, pre-market, very impressive. And we're looking at a red candle, decreasing volume, technically a gap down. So again, 2 out of 3 to the downside without volume. So expecting there to be kind of like an indecisive narrative day here today, right? Implied range is about 1%. So not exactly a tremendous amount of volatility based off of that information anyway. So need to be a little bit patient here this morning prior to basically things setting up or coming together. I'm not quite sure how aggressive we're going to need to be here, but let's see how volatility kind of shapes up and where momentum comes into play here this morning. Because if we do get those nice consistent stories, we should have a pretty strong trading day. So excited to see where we're at, excited to see what markets have in store for us. And yeah, let's absolutely crush it here, team, and let's get back to a little bit of rhythm and flow here, and hopefully we can take advantage of whatever momentum is out there. Appreciate that. Thank you. All right, sweet. Well, let's see how things shape up, right? Expecting relatively slow start so far. Let's be just an NC bit patient. How did everyone's trading go last week? Everyone have a good week? Yes, no, maybe, hopefully. Awesome, Jen. Love to hear that. Hey, that's good. Being selective is very important. I love that. Yeah, Top Step TV's interesting. Nice work, Market Miner. That's fantastic. Nice, Kobe. That's good. Okay, so not a huge range on ES, but we saw dip buyers definitely control a little bit of price action there early. Let's see if they yeah, let's see if we can get ourselves a little bit of juice here. Can't say I've watched a ton of Top Step TV. Just generally when I see their house account balance or whatever, I don't think I've ever seen it be positive. So that's a little bit a little bit confusing, I guess. Nice, Patrick. Congratulations. And yeah, today really is about just finding rhythm and momentum back in markets here today, right? It's not really about the number of trades we take or if we make money or if we lose money. It's about the quality of our decisions, right? So I'm not here to force a trade. Obviously, I know everyone's like kind of roaring to go and excited to be back, and everyone wants to make money here today. I obviously want to do that here as well, but I don't want to make money more than I want to follow my process, right? Or follow my rules, because I know that the only way I actually make money long term is by being a stickler to my process. And every time I compromise, it feels really good for like 10, 15, 20 minutes. But I have no evidence, right, that actually behaving that way or trading that way makes me any money long term. So I'd rather ignore that like impulsive sensation and instead focus on being a deliberate and consistent trader. And if I put myself in a situation where I have a repeatable process, I'm much more likely to make a lot of room. So Joel, for a 50K account, right? The rule with your position sizing should be to take your total drawdown and divide it by 4 or 5, and that should be your max daily loss. So you should have 4 max daily loss days or 5 max daily loss days before you lose access to your account, which should hopefully not happen. Um, the worst we've traded here this year has been 2 red days in a row. So you want to make sure, right, that you can survive that and continue to still trade based on the position sizing guide I posted in the Discord and the rules are from the course that I've indicated. You want to be taking your max total drawdown, dividing it by 5 or 4, and then however many trades you take per day on average, dividing that. So with 150 or with a 50K account, you should probably be looking to trade micros. Not, I mean, can you rephrase your question, Kobe? That's like too generic. Because what I'm looking for here, right, is an ORB fake out lower than a breakout towards 23,900, right? So a fake out under and then a breakout over to push towards 9. Or I'm looking for a fake out above, right, and then a breakdown under to go. NQ1 is considered minis, right? E mini futures. You can see it in the title here. If you want to trade micros, it's MNQ, right? And it will say micro E mini. So it's a mini, not a micro. The amount that it moves per tick, right? So it's effectively the amount of leverage you have. Minis give you $20 per point, micros give you $5 per point. But truth be told, guys, we should be able to figure this out ourselves, right? This should be information that we should all know before we ever place a trade. There's no difference from an execution perspective, but we should know these differences. So far so slow here. No tremendous range yet. Yeah, that sounds about right, Mike. That sounds about right. I would do max risk on a 2K drawdown to be per trade about 150 to $200. That sounds about right. What we need to think about, guys, from our position sizing perspective, right, is if a worst case scenario happens, how many worst case scenarios can I survive while still keeping access to my account? Only being able to survive one worst case scenario day or two worst case scenario days, you're not going to keep access to that account. But being able to survive 5, being able to survive 10, being able to survive 15 increases your probability significantly, right, of actually making money. I think the trap that a lot of people fall into with these prop firms or these accounts in general is they think, okay, I'm going to try to pass this as fast as I can. I'm going to try to get funded as fast as I can. I'm going to try to work towards payout as fast as I can. And all they end up doing is just destroying the quality of their edge. Well, I trade with 150K accounts. So my max loss per day is about $1,500. But again, it depends on how much drawdown you have, Maxwell, right? So it just depends on how much space you have. If you have 50 grand worth of drawdown available, well, you can be more aggressive proportionally than someone who has 5 grand. In general, I keep about 15K worth of drawdown in my accounts, which is where that 1500 comes from. All right, so CL is setting up here a little bit, right? We're getting a nice little breakdown trade. So let's keep an eye on this. Let's just see how it settles into its price action here a little bit. There's no rush yet. Oh. Well, again, I like the buying power of having a 150K account. I think having more drawdown to start makes it easier to make money, right? I can survive a larger learning curve. Like the 50Ks are easier to pass, but they're also much easier to lose access to, which I don't think is the right it's not the right thing for me. Excuse me. So I rather always have more drawdown. The more drawdown I have, the easier it is for me to survive, as long as I'm not being an asshole with my position sizing, right? If I'm sizing down and I'm being responsible with my sizing, the probability of making money is larger with the more drawdown I have. Okay, so again, possible setup here on NQ on the 3-min as well. CL, we're going to have to walk away from because it's invalidated on a risk-reward ratio. And then NQ seemingly now faking out as well. So slowing me down here just a little bit. Not the right look. So we have a setup here, but it failed on confirmation, right? Because it needed to have closed under 823 or under that green box. It didn't do so, so there's no setup there or no signal there. On the 5-min on CL, we don't have a confirmation, right? It's a good breakout, but it's not a breakout on volume. So again, we're staying away from that. Yeah, so far so slow here to start the morning off, kind of as expected. So pretty much hasn't moved yet too much here this morning. So not much for me to do yet. And everything looks kind of stuck, right? A few exceptions, maybe. What do you mean by that, Steven? Sorry, I'm not quite sure what your comment means. Well, overtrading is not a number of trades thing, right? Overtrading is trading when you don't have an edge and you're just trading because you think you can make money, not because your strategy is in business. So overtrading isn't like, oh, you take 50 trades that you overtraded, or you took whatever. You can overtrade on one trade. You can overtrade with two trades. So overtrading is, I think, just taking positions or taking decisions that don't follow your rules or don't follow your system and ignoring. I don't think we have payroll data here. No data that's coming out by the looks of it, right? Well, every trader, I think, always likes to overrate their skill, and they like to I don't know, put extra emphasis on what their gut is telling them, and they pretty much have no evidence to indicate that that's actually going to be a profitable decision. So let's see. So far, so slow here. No action yet, right, for us to take advantage of. And I can't necessarily play this here as a reversal signal because we have no indication yet of really trending price action here or like a backdrop of trending PA, right? The most recent kind of big volume or like big enthusiasm day that we've seen has been one of indecision. So I can't really look to buy the dip on indecision based on information I have here today. I want to be buying the dip when I have trending price action. I don't have that scenario in play here yet. So again, still being really patient. We've basically just been hanging out around 8:30, right, on NQ, hanging around, 505, 508 on ES, and then CL hanging out like 63.15, right, that kind of range. So we're very much stuck. Let's continue to be patient here. Let's see where we find support. Let's see where price action wants to establish itself. Again, if I don't get a trade here opening 30 minutes, not a big deal, right? Doesn't mean anything. Yeah, so far so patient here, team. Nothing going on yet. And I think the temptation here today is going to be to like try to catch a falling knife type thing, right? Or to try to chase moves that aren't there. So we really have to fight back against sensation here. Steven, I'm gonna politely tell you to fuck off here pretty soon. I'm gonna trade when I have an opportunity to trade. If you're gonna criticize me for following my rules in my program, you're not gonna be eligible for anything, man. So I'm here. I'm looking for the market, but I'm not gonna trade something that isn't there. If you have these unrealistic expectations, I would recommend you revisit what is actually possible. The fact that we're 21 minutes into the session and you're already complaining, man, it's pathetic. So honestly, dude, shut up. No one here's wanting to suffer fools. So if you want to be an unprofitable trader, keep behaving the way you are. If you actually want to make money, be deliberate, learn how to actually trade properly, and actually want to learn something. Don't waste everyone's time with that kind of bullshit. So we're watching here on NQ a little bit, right? We've got a possible setup trigger. And let's watch how this behaves. I may be a little bit partial due to maybe wanting to trade this more on the 5 than the 3. The only reason I say that is because we didn't close under that 816. I think that um would have been the starting point here to a certain extent. Like the thing we have to realize, guys, as traders, we get paid for our decisions. We don't get paid for our time. So we're trying to optimize for high quality decisions, not for entertainment, not for anything else. No, I'm going to tell you when I enter a trade. Still got a little bit of time to go here. Let's see how this closes. This is not okay. It's not perfect. Yeah, 100%, Mike. Let's see if we can get increasing volume here. It's going to close. Didn't give me the increasing volume. Same thing on on ES, right? It's decreasing, not increasing relative to previous bar. So not willing to trade the compromise. Still maybe a little bit like too many different stories yet out there. I'm not sure if I'm super convinced by this. It's just a moving average. Just a moving average, Steve. Oh, it's just an MA of 20. Yeah, so good decision here so far. Okay, so now we're possibly getting that reversal. So all this talk, right, about wanting to rush into a trade. We had listened to Steven, we all would have lost money, right? So we have to be deliberate. Okay, so we're possibly setting up here now for that reversal scenario. Let's see if it can come together. Stop loss would be red line, right? Approximately 819. Reference price would be 827. This might be moving a little bit too fast to be able to get an entry. Let's see. We're watching now this pullback here gently, right? Like I said, stop loss would be 819 on a long. So watching here carefully, we'd like to see it pull back gently. I would say so far the pullbacks have not been particularly gentle. So would probably expect this to fake out prior to it making its move higher, which then probably indicates, right, that I need to wait for the 5 min time frame or for that 10 a.m. time to kind of tick over. Again, let's be a little bit patient here. And again, obviously, guys, I'm here because I want to take a trade and because I want to make money. But I'm not just going to take a trade for the sake of taking one, and so that you guys think, oh my gosh, Michael's some incredible trader. I'm going to follow my system. I'm going to stick to my rules. Not going to rush anything. Pretty much everything I've said that's going to happen here so far has, right? We said how that reaction here was not very good, and that the most likely outcome was going to be a fake out. Exactly what just happened, right? So, yes, maybe we haven't made any money here yet, but we've saved ourselves from losing money on dumb decisions. And that's a win too. No, I've got a little bit left to go on them. Okay, so now we're back to waiting. Okay, so this is going to set up here potentially for a downside rip as well. Let's see. Not a great close. Very indecisive. No, I haven't shared any stories, I don't think. I mean, there's lots of stuff, Ty, in the trading docs that lists out all my trading rules. So there's a lot of stuff you can just go through when you can find it. There's a lot of stuff there. And the reason why people tend to get emotional with their trading is because they start to get reactions to things that they didn't know they were looking for, right? So emotion or stress or anxiety in a trade happens when something you didn't account for happens, and generally happens right when you're missing bits of information inside your trading plan. So the way that you counter that emotional quote unquote trading is yeah, you manage like you be more deliberate with your rules and your process, and you define what those things are, and the clearer you are over what you're looking for in a trade, the more you can make things binary. So the way that I would visualize it, right, is you almost want to be able to like close your eyes and see your trade being able to come together. That's effectively the sweet spot, right? Because if you can see what a winning trade looks like in your head before it happens, if you can see what a losing trade looks like in your head before it happens, now you can kind of effectively say, okay, this is what I've had. This is what I thought it was going to look like. Is it closer to a strong trade or a weak trade? Then you can remove some of those emotional baggages. Oh, there. I mean, it was chaos, Mike, for sure. Oh, if things slow down here or we don't get any action, I will. I'll get into story time a little bit, but for now, we're getting set up for some potential moves, so we'd rather focus on that. Not the best close, but it's still closed under previous low of day and under 800, which I think is positive. Let's see. I think my target here is going to be 700, right? Which is just that first level from our prep. But again, just be a little bit patient here, right? The first thing we saw here to the downside was a fake out under the low. So just demands patience. We're looking at a 797 stop loss now on a short. Okay, and the reference price of 85, we'll call it, right? I'm looking at maybe 2 contracts here. And let's see, again, probably moving a little bit too fast, so just be patient. And if we're asking ourselves what does strong bearish price action looks like, if bears are strong, they're going to move faster than bulls. Right now, kind of seems like bullish price action is moving faster than the bearish price action. Excuse me. Yeah, again, let's see. Gross price action so far. Maybe I could do something like this. Pullback technique here on the 5-min time frame. Reference price, I'd probably want like that. So 814-ish. That'd be 20 points of risk. So that'd be a 1 contract play. And that again would be stop loss 834. Okay, so again, still watching this NQ here a little bit to the downside. We're looking for a move above 814, right? It'd be a 1 contract play. And we're looking, right, for it to feel as if it's running out of momentum, right? So we're being patient. Let's see. Okay, so moving a little bit too quickly above that reference price line, right? It kind of like cut through like it was butter. So again, just being a little bit patient. And we're trying to see basically this bullish pullback fail, right? Or some sort of indication that these bulls aren't strong. But we're also looking at it with extreme prejudice because everything that we've seen here so far today has been fake out, fake out, fake out, right? So it's not that a move can't happen in one direction or the other, but so far we've had very little indication that that move is happening in a way that we would be expected to make money off of. All of our setups here so far would have been fake outs prior to making an aggressive move. Again, being very, very patient here. I have very limited reasons to be aggressive yet. Excuse me. Okay. And again, right, just being patient has saved us money here, guys. Yes, it's fun to make decisions. Yes, it's fun to take on risk. That's not more fun though than um like it being fun doesn't justify losing money. And so far everything, right, that we could have compromised on would have lost us cash. That's fine, right? It's okay. We're making good decisions. We're being deliberate. We're in our second most profitable position. No big deal. There's no guarantee that the market is going to give us a winning trade. The only thing that is guaranteed that we have the opportunity to sit and watch. And then from there, it's all about can we get something that follows our rules perfectly? And if it doesn't, no reason to compromise. All right. So maybe we have a chance here on the fake out scenario, right? So we got that ORB fake out under those lows. Beautiful. If we can get a high volume confirmation here, which we now have, maybe target to move back up towards that upside. And we'd just be targeting our 2R profit target range here. I think the other element that's probably indicating, right, a pretty choppy day here so far is we've had a lot of failed setups in both directions, right? We've had bullish setups fail, we've had bearish setups fail. It's faked out everybody, right? So if that's the case, right, expecting it to continue to be choppy, indecisive, pull your hair out, frustrating until proven otherwise, there's no like reason to be aggressive, right? Be honest, there's no easy trade we could have made money on here yet today. As much as people want to say otherwise, there isn't there. Yeah, 100%, Mike. And you've also probably realized that when you switch that mindset to that mindset, how much better your P&L got, right? Because putting on risk is really good. You'll maybe have 3 or 4 days of really good trading and you'll feel like you're the best trader in the world and like you're a month away from, you know, being a millionaire or something like that. But putting on that risk will ensure that you won't ever have that long-term run of success. So just putting on a trade because it makes you feel alive is the worst reason to place a trade. We're still in business here, potentially. No, markets are always the same. I don't think Trump has anything to do with it. I don't think he makes things harder. I don't think he makes things easier. Markets are always the same. And it's not like Trump or any politician or any news event or anything is forcing me to make a decision, right? So I'm in control of what I do in the market. That's up to me, not up to anyone else. So Trump doesn't influence that. Makes no difference. All right, so I mean, still pretty indecisive here. No rush, guys. No, I'm not in a rush to lose money. Not interested. Um, so blue lines, these are just what I call reference prices. So when I'm looking at entries, my blue line is where I'm mapping out my position sizing from. So the one you just saw was just one that was didn't delete. I mean, I usually trade the 3, the 5, the 10, or the 15. Whatever time frame gives me a signal that matches my short term, or sorry, my long term. So I'm looking for basically the first short term signal that gives me a narrative that matches what my plan is on the daily time frame. I generally don't like the 1 min. I get a little bit too much tunnel vision on it. And it's just when I was trading institutionally, we weren't allowed to trade on the 1. So I just never really got a flow on it, I guess. But there's no like right or wrong answer there. It's what is best for you and your personality. So problem with this, right, is my target would have to be this 782, which just isn't far enough away to be able to justify from a risk reward perspective. I'm gonna really struggle here. Have to wait just a little bit. And yeah, we've not missed out on anything here yet. Very, very indecisive trading day so far. Yeah, every time we seem to be getting a quote unquote signal, it's faking it out. It's pretty interesting. Yeah, guys, right? Obviously, my intention here when I came in today into today's trading day was I would like to be able to place a trade, right? Obviously, I came in here wanting to make money, but I can only trade the market that's in front of me, not my desires, right? And so if the market isn't going to give me a setup, I have to stick to my guns, be stubborn, follow my rules, and be unwilling to compromise. I'm also not going to succumb to the peer pressure to trick me to wanting it to trade, like to trade. Not worth it. So for me, like trading my system, trading my rules, it's supposed to be a binary. Like when I'm in the middle of my trading day, it should be like a flow state where I'm just ticking every box and I'm going through, right? And I'm making money. Just trading for the sake of trading, or because I, like I said, I want to feel alive, or because I want to entertain you guys, or I want to do whatever, doesn't make anyone any money. It just makes us all look like idiots. That's not worth it, right? Like look at what the market's done since the open. Our open price today was 507. Look at where we're at an hour later or 50 minutes later. We're at 507. So we've spent an hour doing fuck all. Let's not overrate our ability to have made money in that disaster. I think that's probably a lie we would tell ourselves, not necessarily one that's based in any reality. And things move like kind of seasonally, right? There's times where markets give you big, easy moves. There's times where they don't. And pressing when there's not and being patient when there is, it's the wrong thing. So right now we have to be patient because we're not getting trending days. We're not getting good, clean, consistent moves. So forcing action, not worth it. Again, still 507. It's what exchange they're listed on, right? So gold is NYMEX and or gold one is NYMEX, and GC one will be CBOE. Yeah, so far not a masterclass in making money here today, but so far we've done a really good job just avoiding obvious mistakes. And any day where I finish flat is a good day, right? Any day where I don't lose money is a good day. Now we could still have an opportunity here come up. It's still early doors in this session, but this concept I need to be in a rush to lose money is ridiculous. I honestly can't stand it. And it's not even that I would say that I'm being patient. Like I think that patience here is probably not the correct term. At least in trading, I think patience is a very ambiguous phrase. Like, what does it really mean? All I'm doing here is I'm being stubborn, right? I'm just waiting for price action or for the move to match every single criteria that I'm looking for, right? To follow my technique here to the absolute best of my ability. And everything else besides that is not worth trading, right? I'd rather be stubborn and stick to my rules and follow my process and know what I'm looking for than being patient or like use this ambiguous language, because I think patience, at least in trading, I think it has a little bit of a connotation of like I don't quite know what I'm looking for, I'm just buying time. Whereas today I think we've identified where price action is going to fake out, where scenarios are likely to fail, why maybe moves aren't giving us as much enthusiasm, and we've been able to use that information to avoid losing money. So again, I would say that that's more stubbornness versus even discipline, or or patience. Like discipline, I also think to be a little bit of a like what does that really mean type word when it comes to trading. And so I want to fight back against that a little bit. I'm a big believer that the language we use to describe our problems kind of becomes the frameworks under which we solve them. So the more language we use that kind of relinquishes control, I think generally is not the way that we want to pursue things. So we got 30 seconds to go here. I think most wives would say that, Mike. Hmm. Yeah, so far so patient here, team. I've got no reason to be hyper aggressive yet. One sec here, guys. Be back. All right, so things are starting to crack here a little bit. Let's see. And we'd be targeting 700 here, right, as our move. We close under low of day, so very, very positive. And now let's see. So for now, we're still looking at the pullback technique, which would look like that. Right, so stop loss would be high of our confirmation candle, right? It's about 814. We need to be within at least 25 points of that, right, to be able to justify max risk. So it is reasonable. I'd say reference price here, I'd probably kind of go there-ish. Maybe even there, right around that 800. Otherwise, I would prefer the aggressive, right? And then I can use the low of my confirmation as my reference price. Okay, now we're going to start looking potentially for the aggressive entry technique because that seems to be setting up a little bit. So that would be a 784 stop loss with a reference price of 780, or sorry, 770. So again, it'd be a one contract play here. 23,784. Be a short. We need to see it make a lower low under that blue line and then a gentle pull back into it. So just saw that lower low. Let's watch now. So we're looking for a gentle pull back into that blue line or better. And if this goes without giving me an entry, guys, we'll have the same setup here on the 5 min so I can reset, right? So not a big deal. Okay, so we're gonna look at this on the 5 min instead. It's kind of breaking down without giving me an entry. Okay, so we're looking at a 760 stop loss for now, a little bit higher. 763. Okay, and we're looking for a gentle pullback here again. Beautiful. All right, guys, I'm in 755 entry price, stop loss 764, and I've got two contracts here. Okay, so far so good. Let's see if this can keep flushing. I don't want to see it fake out here at this point, though. Don't like that. Don't like it at all. Really good initial flush, and then that pullback to it, I don't like. Let's give this a second here. There it goes. All right. So let's see if this can keep flushing here now. Beautiful. So all that patience, right, pays off. All that stubbornness pays off, right? So I will not let this trade go red now, right? Absolutely not. All right, let's see how this candle closes here on this 5 min. Got a little bit of time to go, but I'd like to see it flush a bit more aggressively. I'm a little bit paranoid about how it's kind of stalling out here at this like 735 area. Not quite a very strong reaction. Let's see, we got a little bit more of a flush left here. It's the worst pullback we could have seen. Just really frothy still. Really, really frothy. We're going to get increasing volume. Fine. Just want to see a really strong candle close here, so I can have confidence in there being like some flush left in it, right? Type thing. I think it's been a little bit more indecisive maybe than I would have expected post entry. So let's see how this closes. 20 seconds to go, give or take 25 seconds to go. Let's see how it closes. Ugh. Gross close. Ugh. $42. Yeah, I just would have wanted to see more separation post entry. A point a minute's a terrible pace. Yeah, gross. Really gross. Mom, flush, baby, flush. Hey guys, I'm out of this. I am out of this. Don't like this reaction here so far. We've had multiple attempts to try to crack under this, and it's not giving me the follow through that I want. So I'm either going to try to reset and get in partial here, or I'm going to try to maybe take us another stab at this a little bit later on. But I think the fact that it's like attempted 2 or 3 times to crack down and then it pretty much instantly comes back to that 750, that makes me not feel super confident that there's a lot of follow through left, or it's not behaving as if there's a lot of follow through left. So I'll take my small win and move on. We can potentially try this again here. And so if it sets up, right, we can get another tight risk reward ratio. No problems to try this again. But kind of felt maybe early on that, all things considered. You don't get paid for being early. Pointing now. Classic. All right, so we're gonna look at this maybe on the 2 min here. Yeah, we've not missed out on anything, I don't think. Yeah, very much, right? And that type of indecision post entry is not what you want to see. Again, happy to have gone impartial there. We're going to go on the 2 min. It would have to probably be something like that, right? But again, I'm not super interested in that. Okay, and now would have been probably stopped out. So again, a good decision. Maybe we didn't maximize PNL there, but listen to what the market was telling us, right? Wasn't behaving the way that we expect. Get out, take your win before it becomes a loss. I'm okay with that. Against a reversal. And the reason I say that is because we've seen bears now try to basically be in control, and they've kind of struggled. Nice work, Kobe. Let's see here, guys. Let's see. We still got a few minutes. I'd still be interested maybe on this on the 2-min time frame. Potentially for sure. 5-min might go increasing. We got a little bit of time here. Yeah, so I'm still interested here on the 2-min. This is my confirmation, right? That 1044. Well, now maybe behaving a little bit less interestingly. Excuse me. Let's see what you got here, NQ. The target here would be high of day, right? So opening range high would be my target here. It would look like something like this, right? So 752 stop loss on this long. And we're looking for a gentle pullback into that blue line or so. Looks like it might just be running without us here. Annoying. Excuse me. So again, we're back in business here on the 2-min, little breakout potentially. So let's see where this thing finds support. 780 appears to be the support for now. Call it 779. Keep the math simple. Okay, now we want to see a gentle pullback here, right? Gentle, gentle. On 2 points. Okay, sweet. So I'm in, guys. I kind of got a crappy fill. I'm in at 786. I'm in at 786, a little bit above my reference price. 2 contracts. Beautiful, though. So far, so good. Oh, fuck. So I'm trying to copy paste this alert and it did it the wrong way. Okay, so far, so good here, team. So far, so good. Maybe a little bit of a stall out there around 800. That's going to be something to keep an eye out for. Would love to see just an aggressive breakout through 8. Let's see if it happens. It's insisting on trying to make the move in the most difficult way possible. It feels like deja vu to that last trade a little bit. Again, now probably looks a little bit like an 800 rejection without actually necessarily touching it. It kind of smells like one type thing without it actually being one. Let's see if that's a fake. Again, I will not let this trade go red at this point. Kind of feeding on scraps here a little bit. And then just stalls out. Come on. Come on. My take profit is high of day, Kobe, right? High of day is my take profit. I don't have one set inside my order window. I don't do that. Nope, never have, never will. Again, this is things kind of stalling out here a little bit. Oh, there we go. Here we go. Fucking finally. All right, push, push, push. Huh. Man, that 800 was like a blip for just for a brief moment. Weird. Yeah, not behaving healthy. So I think this needs to be an exit. It hit 800, could not keep pushing. That's quite the concern. Yeah, I just got stopped out on that. Oh, that's annoying. That puts me to minus 54 on the day. Okay, this does set up for a move to the downside, though, so we are fine. We're back in business. That was a bit annoying. $12 points of risk. Why do I not leave take profits? Why would I want to cap my upside potential, Kobe? All right, looking here, 784 would be the stop loss. Yeah, close it when the market tells you to close it. It's just a number on a screen, right? It means nothing. Okay, so I'm watching here, team. I am watching for a short. I use my profit target to to justify a risk reward ratio. That's it. Like all those philosophical type questions or stuff is answered inside the how to trade with DTR section, the trading docs, all those kind of stuff. As much as I would like to talk philosophically with you guys here right now, it's not the appropriate time to do so. I need to focus on my trading. Okay, guys, I am in short 772. Stop loss 784.25. Two contracts short. Maybe a little bit early on my entry here. Let's see. Okay, so again, let's see if this thing can flush pretty quick. You know, based on all the trades we've seen here so far today, it's like the move happens quickly early and then it stalls. So if I get a bigger move than I expect here right off the jump, I'm just going to take it, reset, and try again. So let's see if this thing can flush a little bit. Better. Okay, so far so good here. So far so good. Let's see if we can get a flush through 760. There it goes. Watch closely here now, team. Come on, flush more. I believe you can get down to 50 here. And Q, I believe in you. Now almost $600, right? So pretty good. Come on. This candle needs to close under 760. 30 seconds to go. If it doesn't close under 760, I have to get out. If it can close under 760, then I can look to hold on and potentially look for a continuation. There we go. Looking much, much better. Now flush with some strength at the end here. Come on. Come on. Die, 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 die. So this would theoretically be a position to look for a pyramid, but based on how choppy markets have been here today, I have no interest in doing it. So let's even get a flush through 750 now. And horrific pullback. Getting out today with these pullbacks. Just disgusting. Ah, truly and utterly pathetic price action. Yeah, really disappointing PA here. All right, let's see if we can maybe look for an exit, I think. Has to be the move. Such a disappointing day. If you took profit on all 3 days, why are you saying it's a tough day? That doesn't make any sense. It's just been a tough day for follow through, right? We've had lots of setups. We've had 20 setups show up. There's none of them giving us any significant follow through. Or the second you get some, and then the next candle reverses. Yeah, so hopefully you guys all got out of that trade, right? Hopefully you all got out of it. I'm sitting on $6.08 worth of PNL here today. 2 for 3. Yeah, I mean, I don't think I'm going to probably place any further trades here, all things considered. Taken three stabs at things. All three things have stalled effectively. Made like little baby moves, give you just enough hope that they're going to give you follow through, and then they stall in reverse. I'm not super into that. That's high stress, low reward price action. So nice to be green, but I don't think I need to do anything too crazy here. Actually, I have a bit of a correction on my daily P&L. I have one account that's at like $6. Everything else is at like 240-ish. I'm sitting at like 240.88 on my leader account here. You want to call it that? I'm not sure I'm going to do anything else. I'm just going to take it and run, I think, here, team. So any questions, everybody? Any questions here? Anything I haven't touched on or anything along those lines? I appreciate that, Victor. All right, guys. So yeah, any other questions here? Anything else? Happy to be green, but to a little bit, maybe a little bit here today, like held on to some of those trades for a little bit too long. You know, had I closed them all when they're up $500, it's a much better day. I left a little bit of money on the table, which I think is a bit frustrating. But all things considered, like a week away from the markets, and kind of felt like I had a pretty good read on things here today. I'm not going to complain too much. I should have been up a bit more for sure. But yeah, just kind of some dumb PA today. So 8 accounts, I had a P&L of 240.88. One account was like $6. Hey, well done, Joel. Really awesome. Hey, that's awesome, Leia. $1,000 on the day. That's fantastic. So, like, any day where you guys outperform me as a trader, I think is a really awesome day. I love to see that. So, really well done here, team. Kind of seems like everyone's got bigger P&L than me here today, which is awesome. Discord. The Discord link is emailed to you, David, but if you're in on trial, you're not going to get full-time access to it. And John, I'm responding to the live trading Discord chat. It's the other area, right, where the stream is hosted. So final call for questions here, team. Final call for questions. Higher time frame trades aren't more profitable than short-term time frame trades. That's not what I said when I talked about various different time frames. Higher time frames just are a little bit less prone to shakeouts or fakeouts, right? Because you have a larger sample size of data. So it's not that that they're more or less profitable. That doesn't work like that. It's just that there is less variance in the signal noise. All right. Anything else for your team? Nice work, Mark. All right, guys. Well, I'm done for the day here. If you have any questions, hit me up outside of market hours. I got a few of you one-on-one calls here later today. So looking forward to catching up with you then. Otherwise, yeah, we'll chat in a tomorrow stream, I guess. And I'm going to go probably just destroy like 6 liters of chicken noodle soup. And yeah, can go get some sleep in. So have yourselves a great day here, team. And I'll see you tomorrow.